good everyone, it's Notorious Sushi, and today we're talking about how to actually reach Masters in Brawl Stars Ranked. 2 weeks ago, I uploaded my climb to Masters, and if you watched it, you saw me go on a pretty big win streak before I actually hit Masters. So in this video, I'm breaking down the things that actually matter the most when you're pushing for Masters, and I promise you at least one of these things is something you never really thought about. This was also heavily requested after my Mythic guide, so shout out to everyone who asked. Let's get right into it. Alright, let's start with something that people skip over a lot, which is your mentality. This is a real life skill, so this applies to everything, not just Brawl Stars. And here's a scenario that I guarantee has happened to you. It happens to everyone, including myself. Like you're one win away from Masters or Legendary 3 or whatever your goal is, and you lose that round. You're pissed, so you queue immediately and you're not playing well, then you lose again and again, and you've suddenly lost like 3 hours of progress. This is like a rinse and repeat process because you just say like forget this game and just try to wait till next season, which is like a loop that keeps people stuck. And here's what you actually should do, or here's what I actually do. After every loss, I ask myself if I'm scared of playing the next game. Well, not even just scared of playing it, if I'm like scared of losing more. But if I am, like, I'm scared to lose more, like what if I lose? Then I just close the app. Like, seriously, playing angry is the best way to go backwards. Because when you're in that headspace, you're not making decisions right, and you're just playing on autopilot. You're not thinking, you're just like aiming and walking, and that's how you throw games you should have won, you know? And if you want to take it a step further, after a bad session, go back and just rewatch the round. See what mistakes you actually made. I do this sometimes because this perspective is different. You realize you're not playing as well as you thought you were. There's a huge difference between watching the game while you're playing it versus when you're watching it back with a different set of eyes, you know? The perspective is different and you catch things you never would have noticed in the moment. On top of that, I think when you play matters more than you think. Personally, I push rank between like 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. local time or really late at night after 11 p.m. I think that matchmaking tends to be way more favorable during those windows, fewer sweaty teams, and just generally more relaxed lobbies. If you're grinding during peak hours on like a Friday night, you're just making it harder on yourself for no reason. And honestly, a lot of the times I wait until the end of the season to make my push because the lobbies get easier. So try to find that window when you're feeling good, you win a couple, and you're locked in. And even when you lose, you don't lose your drive. Your mental state is worth more than anything. Like your mentality, it's a real life skill. It's better than any in-game skill you have because it's something you should apply to everything in real life. Alright, now let's talk about something that actually ends game before they even start, which is drafting. I know everyone talks about it, but seriously, it is really important. And I'll be making a fully dedicated drafting guide soon, so I won't go too deep into it right here. But let me give you the most important things you need to know right now. First of all, I want you to pay attention to this draft going on right here because I think it fits well with what I'm trying to explain. The map is Pinball Dreams and the enemies have first pick. Along with that, every map has brawlers that work on it. And your job is to have a wide variety so you're never stuck. You don't always need the number one meta pick. Even a mid-tier brawler on the right map can work as long as you're comfortable with it. Like right here, my opponent first picks Rico on Pinball Dreams, which is completely fine. I could go Ems is open here, a thrower's open, but I know Rico needs walls, so I'm going to go with something that could break walls that I'm comfortable with, which I go Brock, which is not the best decision, I would say, but I can make it work. I know how I can play Brock into Rico, even on a map like Pinball Dream, so I know I can make it work. Another brawler I still pick sometimes is Penny, and she's not exactly broken, but she works on certain maps because she's a comfort pick for me, and half the time, no one expects it. And no one expecting your pick actually matters more than you think, because it could completely throw the opponents off guard. In step 2, you have to understand first and last pick. First pick, you grab the strongest brawler available for that map. Like this guy just grabbed Rico, which is strong after his freaking fire rate buff. And last pick, you react to what the enemy picked and kind of counter accordingly. Like one is action, one is reaction. It's simple concept, but a lot of people just kind of pick, auto pick, where no matter where they are in the draft. Right here, as you can see, my Brock, it's good into Willow, it's good into Rico, and if I break the walls, my Otis can do really well against the Buster. And step 3 is the bans. You don't have to ban the strongest brawler in the game every time. I mostly ban brawlers that I just find annoying on specific maps, like Kit, Lily on modes like Bounty and Knockout, for example. And here's a small tip that I really like. Let's say you're playing with randoms. I always just let them ban first in most situations. Say you are gonna ban like Angelo on Heist, but then your random does it for you. Now you can use your ban on something else, starting like a Chuck. So never waste a ban if you don't have to, is what I'm trying to say. And step 4 is to draft the comp. Not a lot of just good brawlers. This is one I don't actually hear people talk about too much, because you can have 3 individually strong brawlers that do absolutely nothing together. Like, don't stack the same roles, 3 tanks, 3 assassins, whatever. A well-rounded comp with decent synergy will beat a stack of meta picks with like no synergy at all. And lastly, drafting is a skill you build in the game, not on YouTube. So use what I said as a framework, then go practice it, because just watching this won't get you better at drafting, and listening to me won't, because I'm not the best drafter myself either. Everything just comes with experience. But drafting is honestly 50% of the match. You can win a game off draft alone, but being outdrafted doesn't guarantee a loss either. So don't mentally check out if the draft doesn't go well. Remember what I said about mentality earlier. Alright, on to the next section, and this one should be pretty obvious, but it clearly isn't. And it's playing the objective. Even in Legendary 3, people are still playing like it's a kill-based like team deathmatch. I've seen people go with like 20 plus kills and still lose, because kills that don't matter don't affect the outcome of the game. I call them like unnecessary kills, and chasing them is one of the biggest mistakes I see at high elo. Here's an example. You're playing heist, your team has solid positioning and pressure on the safe. Then let's say Jesse without super sneaks through to your safe. You don't have to stop everything to run back and chase that kill. Just keep hitting their safe, keep the pressure up. Even that extra 1 and 2% damage could be the difference at the end of the game. But if your teammates are back there, let them handle it. Your job, if you're already on like the top of the map, is to keep the pressure going. Same thing in Brawl Ball, even if you're going 0 to 10 and the ball's in a good spot. But let's say you have a mobile brawler like El Primo, Stu, whatever is fast. Find that one window to grab the ball and just score. Like, let's say the enemies just have the ball in a bad spot, you can just grab it and run past them. Because at the end of the day, stats don't matter if you win. Another example would be in Bounty. If you're already up in stars and there's not much time left, don't overextend facing a kill you don't need. Just play it safe, protect your lead, and just win the game from there. A lot of people throw bounty rounds specifically because they can't resist going for one more kill when the round is basically already won. And always just be asking yourself, what is my win condition right now? If you're winning, there's usually no reason to play aggressively. However, there's an exception. If your teammates are pushing, just back them up. And if something doesn't work in round 1, don't run it the same way in round 2. Adjust. This all comes with experience, which I'll get into later. But the faster you start thinking this way, the faster you climb. Alright, those are the 3 main points I would like to make for reaching Masters. But there are a few bonus tips I want to give. So a few things I think is worth mentioning before I wrap up is, first, should you play solo or with a team when you're pushing for Masters? Solo almost every time, because when you're in a team, you lose more elo when you drop and you gain less when you win. You also have a higher chance of running into other teams. So, and anyways, after Legendary 3, your randoms are pretty decent anyway. I'm not saying they're the best, but usually they're like okay at least. And yeah, you'll occasionally get the guy who just goes 1 to 12 and has like the wrong star power equipped. But usually those players are lower elo, so at least you'll lose less from those games. And look, you can't always blame your randoms. Everyone makes mistakes. I still make mistakes. I still sell my own games sometimes. And almost every season I've hit Masters, I was solo queuing. But if you really want to play with friends, maybe team up until like Legendary or like Legendary 1, then go solo for like the final stretch. Unless your team is like pro players, completely stacked, then I don't really suggest it, because I think the elo penalty and the matchmaking just isn't worth it. But if your randoms are tilting you, refer back to the mentality section and just come back when iPad kids have a bedtime. Another tip is your setup matters. There's no way around it. Some people can't control it, but if your internet's consistently lagging or your device can't hold a steady frame rate, you're fighting a battle on 2 fronts pretty much. I know this can be completely out of control, like I said earlier, So I'm not saying go buy a completely new iPad right now, but it's worth knowing that it does affect your gameplay. It's a factor. I used to play on my phone with decent internet, and I still hit masters, so it's not impossible. But when I switched to this iPad Pro on my right here, the difference was immediately noticeable. And if you have the opportunity for a better setup, it will help for sure. Alright, the last tip I want to give is just your overall experience. Like I said earlier, experience just takes time. It just comes from playing the game more. And this is another factor that none of us can really shortcut. It takes time to learn every brawler, every map, every matchup. I don't think even the pro players know every matchup in the game. And you can't really absorb all of that in a week no matter how much you grind. It's also not something you can get from watching YouTube either. It's just something you get from playing the game. And it's all about the quality of those hours. Like playing with and against better players accelerates your growth faster than just queuing over and over at the same level. Like every season, if you're just playing in Mythic, you're not going to get better. Try to go push more, go higher, go against better opponents if you can. And I've learned way more from losses against good players than from easy wins. So what I'm saying is just seek out that competition when you can. So to wrap it up, the biggest things that are going to get you to Masters are your mentality, your drafting, and your objective play. Everything else we talked about is important too, but those three I would say are the foundation. And a lot of it does come down to experience and just putting in the time. But if you keep all of this in the back of your head every single game, you're going to improve way faster than just grinding blindly. And I've got a fully dedicated draft guide coming soon, so make sure you subscribe and you don't miss it. Drop a comment letting me know what other guides you want to see or what other content you'd like to see on the channel. I read every single comment. And if this helped at all, leave a like. It genuinely helps out the channel more than you know. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.